So, this is March. Hi there, it's just after midnight on the 5th of March, and I just successfully recorded the second of my 10 monologues for my March monologue this month. I had a little prop drink for the scene, which in this case is an actual drink, so I thought I'd continue to enjoy that and do my WIS video for last month, February. I've actually recorded this a couple times already, but I keep going really, really long. So I'll just do a quicker summary this time around. WIS, by the way, in case this is the first one you're watching, is what I've seen, what I've skipped. I go month by month and I go talk about the movies that I saw on DVD, movies I saw in the theater, and maybe a couple of films that came out in the theater but that I decided not to see, at least for the time being. So, movies I saw on DVD over the course of February. A Little Chaos, directed by Alan Rickman with Kate Winslet. The Final Girls, a horror comedy directed by Todd Strauss-Scholson, starring Tasia Farmiga and Malin Ackerman. The Scorch Trials, which is the second Maze Runner movie, directed by Wes Ball. I don't know a lot of the names of the younger people in the movie, but some of the veteran actors include Giancarlo Esposito, Barry Pepper, Lily Taylor, and the guy who plays Littlefinger on Game of Thrones. Serena, which is a drama with Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence, directed by Suzanne Bier. Taken 3, the third in the Liam Neeson action thriller franchise, is directed by Oliver Megaton, who did the second Taken as well. Captive, drama directed by Jerry Jameson, based on a true story, stars David Oyelowo and Kate Mara. Freeheld, which is a drama also based on a true story by Peter Sollett, stars Julianne Moore and Ellen Page. Life After Beth, which is a horror comedy directed by Jeff Bema, stars Dane DeHaan and Aubrey Plaza. And the documentary Going Clear, Scientology in the Prison of Belief, directed by Alex Gibney. Some of these movies I didn't like at all, like Taken 3 and The Scorch Trials. I didn't even see the first Maze Runner movie. I wanted to know what the second movie would be like, having not seen it, not knowing really anything about it other than the fact that these kids didn't have any memory and were caught in a maze. And they really didn't do a lot to establish character. You know, they pretty much figured everyone who's seen this movie saw the first one, so why bother? So it was kind of unsatisfying. But there were a number of good set pieces involving running around and trying to escape from zombies in a burned-out city. Yeah, it wasn't. I wasn't really connected with it very emotionally, and the dialogue wasn't terribly imaginative. So not a big fan of either of those. A Little Chaos I liked very much. I reviewed it for the collab channel I'm on. Final Girls had some really great moments in it. Serena was a decent movie. It got very bad reviews and had been delayed for a long time because it sort of like was in the shadow of the other movies that Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper had been in together by David O. Russell. This one was okay. It's about it takes place in the 20s. It's about people that are producing lumber, chopping down a forest and producing lumber and making it their business, but there's some developers, or anti-developers I should say, that want to turn it into a forest preserve and cut down on the amount of trees that they can use. So they do some underhanded stuff, and then things sort of snowball, things get out of hand. I like the movie overall. It was pretty decent. Nothing extraordinary, but a decent movie. Freeheld, I was really interested in seeing that movie. Julianne Moore and Ellen Page were playing a real-life same-sex couple, one of whom was a cop. She had cancer. She wanted to pass her benefits along to her younger partner who didn't make as much money so they could keep their house that they lived in, but they were stonewalled by, procedure and, prejudice and what have you. So it's about them, basically, trying to overcome that. The movie that I really, really liked was Life After Beth. Aubrey Plaza, this is not the kind of role she normally plays. Normally she's sort of on the outside of the action, sort of like sardonically commenting on whatever's going on and just being sarcastic in general. In this one, she starts off kind of naive. she she died basically from a poisonous snake bite and then rose from the dead. But she isn't aware that she died. She doesn't understand what's happening. Dane DeHaan, her boyfriend, is surprised that she's alive, and he thinks that her parents faked her death, but he doesn't really understand the full extent of what's going on. And as the movie progresses, she gets more and more zombie-like, and her behavior becomes more and more out of control. I really liked the movie a lot. I thought it was really good, and it wasn't it wasn't the type of character I was expecting her to play, but she was really great in it. So I'd strongly recommend that one. And I also really liked the documentary about Scientology. Of course, I'm, not a big fan of Scientology. From what I've read, it's terrible, and there's just more reasons to think Scientology is terrible in this documentary. I also read Leah Remini's book about Scientology. She's a former Scientologist, and she got out of it. The book is called Troublemaker, and although it was a really traumatic experience for her, it's really sort of exhilarating to read about her telling off all the Scientologists that want her to just keep quiet and behave and do the church procedures, and just like, hell no, not doing this anymore, go to hell. And I'm just like, yeah, you go, Leah Remini, that's awesome. So yeah, both of those, Life After Beth and Going Clear, both of those really good movies, so I'd recommend those highly. What did I see in the theater? I saw Michael Moore's new documentary, Where to Invade Next. I really like Michael Moore a lot. The only movie of his that I really don't like as much is Bowling for Columbine, because I felt like he blamed the wrong people in that one. And that's the one that won him an Oscar, oddly enough. But this one's really good too. He just goes over to different countries across the Atlantic and finds social policies involving public schools and prisons and healthcare and things like that, and says, well, these are so great, why don't we have these in America? Well, as it turns out, we actually did a while back. These countries borrowed their policies from us, and then we became more mercenary, I guess, or at least the people in charge of those institutions became more mercenary. That's why things are so screwed up over here. So, yeah, decent movie. As far as the other films go, I saw Hail Caesar by the Coen brothers. Reminded me a lot of The Big Lebowski, how it has all these digressions, all these subplots and incidental characters that come in for a little bit and then leave that don't really have anything to do with the main storyline, which is Josh Brolin working for this movie studio in the 40s and just trying to basically put out a bunch of fires and keep things running smoothly and keeping the stars happy, and trying to find George Clooney, who apparently has been kidnapped by communists. George Clooney is like their big movie star there. That was a fun movie. I look forward to seeing that again, especially the Channing Tatum dance number, which was a lot of fun. I saw How to Be Single, which is a rom-com directed by Christian Ditter. Stars Dakota Johnson and Leslie Mann as sisters. And Dakota Johnson, in the beginning of the movie, breaks up with her boyfriend because she wants to find out more about what it's like to be single, because she's been in relationships ever since she was a teenager, really. And that sort of backfires on her. But she ends up having a lot of misadventures involving different men and her friends, basically, who are played by Rebel Wilson. And Alison Brie is also in this movie, but she has a relatively small part compared to the other three. I really like Dakota Johnson a lot. She's gorgeous. I could watch a 4-hour movie with her because her eyes, her lips, she's just gorgeous. And she's a good actor, too. So I like that movie a lot. And I laughed pretty hard during a number of different scenes. So good movie, that one. I also saw Deadpool, of course. That one was lots of fun, really funny, exciting. I like all the actors in that movie. It was real good. And I saw the stop-motion relationship drama, Anomalisa. Very, very odd movie to do in stop-motion. It was co-directed by Charlie Kaufman and Duke Johnson, and David Thewlis and Jennifer Jason Leigh do the voices of the main characters. Basically, it's just about a guy who goes on a business trip to Cincinnati, I think. He ends up staying in this sort of bland hotel and is really just like, sort of glum about life in general. And then he meets the Jennifer Jason Leigh character and suddenly perks up and is really enthusiastic about her and kind of sort of falls in love with her suddenly, even though he's married and has kids. And it's a really bizarre movie to watch being done with stop-motion puppets. I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's a well-made movie, but I don't know if I actually like it or not. It just was like a very sort of odd, uneasy, uncomfortable movie. One more movie that I wanted to mention that I saw, which wasn't really on DVD, it was on YouTube. Those of you who are familiar with Doug Walker probably know him as the Nostalgia Critic He's been making videos lately about all the problems with YouTube monetization and how their account has suffered so many copyright hits, totally unfounded copyright claims. But he and his whole crew of reviewers, they all have just sort of, they sort of create these personas for YouTube. You got a guy who wears a hood over his face all the time, and you've got a guy who wears headphones all over the time, and of course I'm a big fan of Lindsay Ellis, who is the Nostalgia Chick. I really like her reviews a lot. So he basically got all of his people together to go on this sort of like Lord of the Rings quest for this sort of like, it's like an infinity gauntlet or something like that. It's this big sort of metallic glove with a power stone in the back of it. It's like, will grant people power. They've got to find it before it falls in the wrong hands. And for some reason he thinks it would be appropriate for each of them to dress up as some sort of fantasy-inspired character while they do this. So I forget who he dresses up as exactly, but you've got one guy dressing up as Carrie Elwes from The Princess Bride, and one person, Lindsay Ellis, dresses up as Arwen, and then you've got a couple of Harry Potters, and it just sort of goes on like that. And it sort of reminded me of a Kevin Smith movie, the way Kevin Smith always gets the same bunch of actors to get together to play in these farces that he does, you know, with lots of sort of fourth wall breaking stuff, a lot of very self-referential stuff. And this is like a web series, actually, in 7 parts, but I wasn't able to find the series itself. Instead, I found the entire series uploaded on one video on a channel, and I'm not even sure if that's his. But it adds up to like a 2-hour movie, which is really cool. I'm amazed that he was able to get all these people. It's like a cast of at least like 16 main characters together to shoot in this movie when no one probably is making any money from it or getting paid or anything like that. It was a fun movie, pretty silly, you know, and obviously, you know, done with just an amateur's, you know, resources and budget. But yeah, I'm pleased that I saw it. And if the video still exists, by the time you're watching this, you will find the link to that video in the description below if you'd like to see it for yourself. A couple of movies that I skipped seeing in February: Gods of Egypt, which is directed by Alex Proyas, who did Dark City. I would have seen that, but it just looks a little bit too bad. I didn't see 999, the new John Hillcoat police thriller movie, and The Witch got very, very good reviews. In fact, one of my favorite critics gave it 4 stars, 4 out of 4, which is like the highest rating. So I'll be interested in checking out those at some point, but I missed them this time around. Didn't see them. So yeah, next month, of course, I'll do one in early April. I'll do one for everything that I saw in March. I hope you'll tune in for that. Thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing and visiting my Facebook and all that good stuff. Appreciate it very much. I hope you continue to enjoy my videos. Later.